Hey everybody, welcome back to Inside the Force. Dave Cottingham here, and welcome back, Hannah.
Hello.
How are you?
I'm well. How are you?
Doing good. Welcome back from your Disney trip.
Yes. Yes, a little
How was
Disney fling.
little weekend fling, right?
Yep.
How did that go?
Oh, it was a lot of fun. I had a great time with my sister. What started off as just a day in Magic Kingdom turned into an all four park excursion. So it was fun.
Nice. Only one day?
Only one day.
Only one day. Wow. Yeah. Yeah, you got to try to get as many parks in when you only have
Yeah.
one day.
Absolutely.
Yeah. Weather was better than here.
Oh, it was gorgeous. It didn't rain. It was 70s. It was
Oh
wonderful.
man. Yeah, that's did not get that whenever I was there last month, but
Oh, bummer.
um that I don't know if I told you that. I tell you we booked our summer thing. Did I tell you that?
No, you didn't.
Oh.
Exciting.
Yeah, we booked our first Disney cruise this summer. So yeah, so June won't be doing the show that week cuz I'll be somewhere in the ocean.
You'll have a lot of fun, though. You guys will.
Yeah, I think it will be. I think it will be a lot of fun. All right. Thanks, everybody, for joining and coming back and hanging out with us. I did want to say, because I don't think I've been on this show since, but I did change my background a
Mm-hmm.
little bit. I posted on Patreon and showed the guys on there and everybody on there that I changed this around a little bit. I got rid of that annoying door that used to be behind me that I tried to block every time. I never really liked that. So I'm trying this out, see how this works. I turned my desk and, blah, 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 blah. So that's just in case someone's looking at that. I'm like, wait a minute, that looks weird. Cause this used to be, this used to be over here,
Yeah, it's like,
it was way over here on this wall over here. And that thing the thing that was there is now over there. So anyway, I kind of like this better. It's growing on me a little bit. I feel like I got a little bit more room, but
well, there you go.
so that's yeah. So, and I'm actually I was gonna paint it too. I think I'm still gonna paint this room. I don't
You
really
didn't
like
paint
this.
it?
No, I didn't paint it. The
Oh,
same
it
color.
looks like it's a different color.
No, it's still the kind of taupe-ish, brownish. I think they call it. Well, they don't. I don't think they call this. I don't know I don't know what color it is. It's like a brownish taupe. I want to go kind of more of a grayish color. So I will probably do that with the next few weeks and see what that looks like. But there's more to talk about. There's more Star Wars actually to talk about. So
Yes.
let's get into first is I think we settled on this. We're obviously, now that Hannah's back, we're talking about our second commentary for
Yes.
Star Wars Episode 2, Attack of the
Yes.
Clones. I think what we've landed on is that we're going to probably do Friday evening,
Mm-hmm.
right?
Yes.
Now, I know that's a little bit of short notice for some of you. But anyway, well, I don't know why I'm saying that. I'll post it on Patreon because our Patreon is the ones that have access to our actual recording. I'll put it up on YouTube shortly after. But by the time this is out there, our patrons will know that we're going to plan on trying to do it Friday evening.
Or Saturday morning?
Yeah, Saturday morning.
That one's
I don't know if
more.
I can do that. It's like, yeah, I'll let them know, but probably more likely Friday evening.
Mm-hmm.
We're kind of both night people, so we can do it. My time might be a little tight on Saturday morning, so.
Right.
But anyway, episode 2, we'll do that. And of course, same way we did episode 1, I'll release it on YouTube later. Got a trailer I've cut for it as well, so that'll come out around that time. And And yeah, we'll talk about episode 2. Looking forward to that. So that's
Yes.
next on the commentary list. The other news, I'll just kind of say within the Inside the Force news, new Masters of the Order coming next week. I got a chance to finally sit down with Mark Bernardin, who is the writer of the Mace Windu comic. Had a great conversation with him. So I just put it together the other day. So I'm going to put that out there next week.
Amazing.
So look for that. Yeah, that was fun. He was a little under the weather as well, but he powered through it. Usually I try to keep those things around just, 20 minutes or so, just to be mindful of time. But we end up talking for like 50 minutes. So it's a great little conversation inside the comic side of writing these Star Wars issues. And like I said, he's writing Mace Windu right now, which number 1 is out there on the shelves. Number 2 is coming out this month. So, and it's a 4-issue series is what I learned from him. That's probably out there, but I didn't really know. I thought it was like a 5 or a 6, but I think it's only a 4-issue run. So, so go check that out. That will be out next week. But the Mace Windu comic is pretty good so far. And then, Hannah, there's a possible release date for the Acolyte.
Mm-hmm.
What some of these trades are saying, again, not Lucasfilm confirmed, but some of these trades are saying that they expect this thing to be out June 5th.
Yes.
Which I'm assuming that's a Wednesday, right? I didn't even look.
Is it a Wednesday? It is a Wednesday.
It is a Wednesday. Yep. So June 5th apparently is the release of the Acolyte, which is starting to fall under what we had possibly talked about, anticipated for the schedule for this year's Disney Plus, because that would mean that'll probably run. I believe Acolyte's 12 episodes. I think it's 12.
Okay.
Yeah, I believe it is. It might be actually. No, I don't think it's 16. It might be 12. So if it's 12, considering that they do 1 a week, then what's that? That'll put us into August.
Mm-hmm.
So that would make sense, because then you put out probably Tales of the Jedi in September. Yeah. Then you start Skeleton Crew probably November.
Yeah, that makes sense.
Something like that. Yeah. So that seems like it's what's going to be your 2024 Star Wars. But I feel like we got to get something. We got to get a trailer or something soon. I
hope so. We might not get it till May the 4th.
I know. Which has kind of been, their MO for these marketing strategies lately, is that they don't promote the next one until this one's done. Right now, obviously Bad Batch is started and going on. So yeah, I just don't know if there's going to be anything released before Bad Batch ends.
Yeah. Who knows? It'll definitely be interesting to see.
So has your anticipation dwindled a little bit? Or are you still high on the Acolyte?
I can't wait for the Acolyte.
Yeah, I can't either.
I think we've been waiting for a show like this for a very long time. And I just love the fact that we're now diving deeper into the Sith and the whole dark side of the Force. I think that's something that's been missing. And so, I mean, we get some of it in some of the books and comics, but this is really a chance for viewers to see it as well.
Yeah, I agreed.
Are you still excited for it, or?
Yeah, no, I think the fact that we haven't seen anything and gotten anything it is starting to have the reverse effect on me, because typically when I don't hear about something for a while and don't see nothing for a while, then I start to lose interest in it a little bit. But this one, it's almost working. That I haven't seen anything and I haven't heard anything, and I'm like, okay, now I'm really curious, because it could be strategy too, that they don't want to reveal anything.
Yeah.
You know, like they don't want you to see stuff. They don't want to give away anything. They don't want you to start contemplating whether or not this is happening or who this person is, and because these are all new characters. Like this, we haven't been in this world, right? It's not like we're seeing Andor, because we understand the timeline and the people and stuff like that. This is all new. So this is a very they got a challenge in front of them to capture Star Wars fans with this new story.
The only other thing I can think of, and I don't even know how this would be possible. I don't know how it would fit in the story, but the only thing I can think of is something's going to happen in Bad Batch that has a connection to Acolyte, and that's when it's going to drop. But once again, I don't know how that even remotely would be possible unless you bring back Palpatine and he reveals that Darth Plagueis, he says like Darth Plagueis was my master,
Right.
and like that's the only thing I can think of. And
Yeah.
I don't even know how you would put that in Bad Batch. So, and maybe a lot because there were so many fan theories going around about Ahsoka when they dropped certain trailers and such.
Mm-hmm.
Maybe they realized that had an opposite effect because people, were like, whoa, why wasn't Marok so-and-so?
Right.
So it could be that they just didn't want that to happen again. They didn't want theories to go wild and then people to be disappointed.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah, that's definitely possible. But Marok was only Marok.
Yep, so. Marok is just Marok.
It's just Marok. So, yeah, no, that's interesting. I mean, I don't know. It's hard to think that. I mean, they're obviously making it's all connected, but they're obviously making a massive connection, or attempting to, with the Bad Batch and the sequel trilogy, obviously, with Palpatine and all that stuff. But it's connecting it to the next live action show like that. I mean, I think it would be smart to do something like that, but it is going to be difficult to figure out how they would do that.
Yeah.
So
I guess we'll just have to wait and see.
Yeah, I just don't. Yeah. Not sure that that's possible for one, but who knows? It could be. Okay, so that's really all the news that's out there as far as being too relevant. I mean, there's definitely new novels. There's the Living Force novel that's coming out April 9th. There's a big excerpt on StarWars.com. You can go check that out. Defy the Storm, which is the next High Republic novel, coming out March 12th. Temptation of the Fourth, June 11th. August 6th is the Glass Abyss, and September 3rd, Tears of the Nameless. On the comic side, this past week, Thrawn Alliance is number 2. Came out. Next week, you got Star Wars 44, The High Republic, number 4. Then you got Vader 44, Mace Windu number 2, which we just talked about. High Republic number 5, and then Thrawn Alliance number 3, March 20th, and then a brand new book that starts Jango Fett number 1 on March 20, and then Obi-Wan Kenobi number 6 on March 27th. So far, those are your Star Wars comics for the month of March. Go check those out. Another thing I quickly am going to mention that you probably will start seeing, I think I mentioned this a little bit, you might start seeing some tabletop gaming talked about a lot on Inside the Force somehow. Me and Coup Master Coup are talking about that. The Star Wars Unlimited card game is coming out I think it drops. Some of it drops this week, but I think sometime next week is when the boxes start coming out. So I actually been playing a little bit. Me and him have been playing a little bit online with it. Some simulators. So it's pretty cool. It's pretty fun. Hey, and I think you would actually like it a lot.
Sounds great.
Have you done any card games before? Like
I have.
Yeah.
Not anything ridiculous, like ridiculous meaning long-winded. They've been more like
But you haven't done like Magic, or you haven't done Pokemon, or
Oh, I've played Pokemon.
anything?
I played
Yeah, I
Pokemon
played
growing
Pokemon.
up
Yeah.
when it first came out.
Okay. Yeah.
But that was years ago.
Yeah. I never played Magic, but apparently the mechanics of this are very similar to Magic. But I did play Star Wars. It was called Star Wars: The Card Game for years, and loved it. Loved the strategy part of it. It's kind of like chess and cards, and it's really good. This one I feel like right now this one doesn't have as deep of a strategy as those before, but the one I played before, but there's definitely strategy to it. But there's not as many options, I feel like, as the other card game. Like there was several ways you can approach the game depending on what you were trying to do, if you were trying to just attack or defend. And this one, you pretty much have to always attack because you're trying to destroy the other person's base. But it's one of the things where it's good because it's a quick game. Like you can play it within 30 minutes, and
Oh, okay.
and
That's nice.
yeah. But it's a deck building game, so you gotta build your deck, and you gotta know the cards and things like that. So we'll do a little training session, Hannah, at some point.
Sounds like fun. Can't wait.
Yeah, it's pretty fun. That's pretty fun. Okay, let's talk about the Bad Batch.
Yes, let's.
So the Bad Batch has returned for season 3, the final season, and we are now 4 episodes in. The 4th episode just dropped this past Wednesday. Today, I mean, we're recording today, but so Hannah, we didn't talk about yet the first 3 episodes. What are your feelings, just thoughts and feelings overall for those first 3 that we got last week?
I think that it's fantastic. I think the story is just so solid. I'm still with the whole midichlorians. I feel like they were really trying to squish that in there. They're trying to shoehorn it in there. But it made everything make sense. It gave Omega value, and now we know why she was so valuable and so important. We now know the one thing that the Emperor needed to help with his cloning research so that he could clone himself so that he could live forever.
Mm-hmm.
It's opening up the door to more questions, though. Like, why did Nala Se decide? Like, was this her not liking the Emperor at all? So she kind of rebelled against him, or did she fall in love with Omega, then learned about Omega, and then chose to try to protect her? And then you have Emery, who's in this weird position where she doesn't know what to do, and then you have Hemlock, who creepy. And then you have the Bad Batch, doing these things that they might not normally do, but in their way, it's their way of trying to find Omega. And then you got Crosshair and all of the conflicty stuff, internal conflict stuff going on with him. It's a lot. There's a lot going on. And I just think it's really, compared to season 2, I think it's fantastic. Like, I think it's just so well done.
Mm-hmm.
What do you think?
Yeah, I think, I agree with you. I think the M count discussion and the cloning process. I mean, I guess what's weird is that, so you're pretty, I mean, you're pretty convinced that they're talking about cloning Palpatine, and they're talking about,
I'm very convinced about, like,
yeah.
what else could it be?
Well, that's the thing is like, I think it's obvious that they're talking about Palpatine.
Yeah.
I think it's obvious that he's trying to figure out a way. I wonder why. I sometimes wonder, and it could be just because that's the part of storytelling, why you're not just going ahead and saying it. Like they're being cryptic with it, which is part of, again, storytelling and keeping your audience. But most, if not all, Star Wars fans know what they're talking about, right?
Right.
It's just one of the things where it's like, okay, just come out with it.
Just say it.
Just say it. I'm trying to clone myself. Where's the progress? But there's still a little bit of the secret because the necromancer, the Project Necromancer, right? I don't know if you remember, but that was actually mentioned in The Mandalorian. Way back, we're talking almost 50 years from now. It's still being mentioned.
Yeah.
So this project has been going on for a long time, and we're seeing just the infancy of it. But it has to. I mean, it has to be that. And like you said, I couldn't imagine it being anything else, because the fact that it is mentioned later, it is mentioned in a way that they're trying to insinuate that they're trying to bring Palpatine back, right?
Mm-hmm.
So, and the fact that he says, this is to ensure the longevity and the security of the Empire. I don't know. There's no other explanation. So, but like you said, the question becomes now about Omega again, which I think the questions were raised the first time we saw her. And to me, they kind of died down. I think people just live with the fact that, oh, well, she's a female clone of Jango and she has natural aging ability and blah, 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 whatever. That's fine. She's part of the batch. Great. But now it seems like there is actually something unique about her. And we don't know necessarily what that is yet.
What confused me, though, was they weren't just they were testing every single clone.
Right.
And so I'm thinking, did Jango have midichlorians in him? Was this like, oh, by the way, we're going to try to pump up the midichlorian? Like, were clones going to be force wielders? Was that a whole idea?
Well, remember that everybody has midichlorians.
Right.
Necessarily doesn't mean you're force sensitive or that you're able to wield the force. So, but you bring up a good point, I think, because when I was watching this thing, I kept thinking, well, if they're testing, and I ended up answering myself. I think I ended up tucking myself into the answer. But anyway, when I was watching it, I'm thinking, why do they keep testing the same clones? Because it's not like your midi-chlorian count changes.
Right.
Like it's going to be the same. But then I thought, okay, well, they must be trying different combinations. You know what I'm saying? Like they're mixing this blood.
They did mix. Yeah, that might be it. They're mixing his blood with it to see the reaction. Or
they're mixing different types of different clones' blood in order to find the exact good match of M counts to then be able to replicate because I think that's what they're doing. I don't think they're using Palpatine's blood. I think they're trying to create a blood sample that matches his M count so that they can then clone him.
So could this also potentially not be the cloning of Palpatine, but be the cloning of Snoke?
Yeah, it could be definitely the beginning stages of Snoke. I think that's absolutely possible. Because Snoke, I mean, he looks like a failed clone. I mean,
oh yeah, absolutely. But like the weird thing,
but
about
he has the
Snoke
power.
What?
but he has the power. Like he has
He,
the abilities.
yeah, he has the power, but then we also see a test tube full of Snokes, and they all look the
Yes.
same. So I don't know if that design is on purpose or by mistake.
Yeah. Well, I think that's I can venture to maybe guess that they haven't perfected the appearance part of him. Like the they're getting close, but I think I read either in a comic or in a book that the Snoke that we see in the sequel trilogy, that was the only version that was able to be force sensitive.
Oh, gotcha.
Like
Okay.
all the other ones, they were scrapped because they could not wield the force.
Mm-hmm.
But this Snoke was the first one that, oh wow, okay, he's got Palpatine's power actually, or if not more powerful. But that was the beginning stages. And again, it could be this timeline of trial and error, that we're seeing now, starting here and then ending sometime close to the sequel trilogy, that they never could clone Palpatine, exactly, and be able to be force sensitive. And remember, I think he says later on, or maybe it was Kylo Ren that says, right, that they, oh no, I'm sorry, I think it was in the novel, the Rise of Skywalker novel, that how his son, his son came to be. That was a natural clone, and it, it grew up to be almost like his son or whatever. So anyway, but no, it just brings up a lot. It does bring up a lot of things. I thought that was very surprising, and thought it was very good to see in the first 3 episodes. I mean, I think these first 3 episodes definitely felt like, one big movie.
Oh, it did, absolutely.
Right. It was just the escape of Omega and Crosshair. So how are you feeling about Crosshair?
He could be redeemed. I think what's going to happen is, I honestly think that we're going to lose the Bad Batch. I do. And I think Crosshair is
the whole team. Wow, really?
I think so.
Wow.
Yep. I think so. Well, the other reason why is like the only other reason why, and we talked about this before we recorded, the last episode of the Bad Batch airs on May 1st.
Yes.
501.
Yes.
Which that was Rex's crew, right?
Yes. Yeah.
So
Vader's 501st.
To me, that is like, okay, maybe that means like that's how Rex and his group are the only ones left.
Mm-hmm.
So anyway, based on that, I think, because where we're seeing in Crosshair's story arc right now is he's struggling with the idea of not looking out for himself, him looking out for others. So I think his redemption is he's going to sacrifice himself, and that's going to be our first. I mean, we already lost Tech, but in this season, Crosshair is going to be our first death.
Crosshair. Wow. Okay.
He's either going to be our first or our last.
Okay.
I think there's a huge chance Omega survives.
Yeah. Okay. Well, let's jump into then the 4th episode that came out. With Omega and Crosshair working together to finalize their escape. They crash landed on a planet close to Tantus. I mean, they did jump into hyperspace, but they were not able to get too far, and had to work together to get off planet and then to reunite with Hunter and Wrecker. So I don't know. Do you think? Do you think they're taking him back with open arms?
I don't know about open arms.
Yeah.
But I think there's going to be a lot of oh, what's the word I'm looking for? Words are so hard this evening. Um, there's been
Mistrust,
mistrust,
uh,
cautiousness.
cautiousness. Yeah.
Uh, they because they don't know if they can trust him.
No. Right.
And I'm sure part of it is them knowing that it's the chip that kind of set all this off, and he just like it did while the chip didn't go off for the group, or when it did, it was out of a malfunction. For him, it worked.
Yes.
So
Hmm.
I think part of it is them knowing, oh, part of it is the chip, but they still feel like he betrayed them. But he did help Omega escape.
He did.
So I think there's going to be a lot of uneasiness, and I don't think they're going to trust him right away.
Mm-hmm.
I don't think that trust will be mended again, but I think they'll still welcome him, but not with open arms.
Yeah. That's. I.
What do you
I.
think?
I. For a while, I thought how that would go, and I didn't think it would. I didn't think it would go well. I initially would think that they're not going to take him back. Too much time has gone by now, and because now we're talking years now, pretty much since,
Are you sure years? Because in the
right?
shuttle, Crosshair said, Omega, it's been months. What if they're, and she said, no, they'll meet
Well,
us.
months that they've been at Tantus, but then you're talking about the course of since he left.
You're right. I'm so sorry.
Been about a year and a half at least, if not
Yeah,
2 years, right?
it's been a while since Crosshair left the
Right.
Bad Batch.
So it's not one of them things where it's only been a few months and yeah, we'll take you back because you made a mistake. He's been making this mistake for a while now, and he's been, he helped. I mean, he's trying to hunt them down for a while, but I think Crosshair has come to the conclusion that, and finally has seen what the Empire is,
Yes.
and so, but I still don't. Part of me still doesn't feel like he believes he should still be part of the Bad Batch. Actually,
No, I don't
it's
think
one thing.
yeah, I agree with you. I agree with you.
Yeah, it's one thing to be accepted back, but he may not want to be back. He may be like, you guys have your thing. That really never was me, so maybe I just need to be on my own. I don't know. I mean, the show's coming to an end, so I don't see him leaving them. I do feel like he's going to be a part of the show, but I do feel like I am leaning towards like you that if there is going to be a casualty, I feel like he would be the first. Unfortunately.
Yeah. Because it would be his redemption.
Yeah, totally. Yeah, I think so too. I think in the next episode he gets somewhat accepted back in. They go on, we do see a scene in the trailer where there's 3 people coming out of that thing. So it has to be him, I guess.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, you're right. I think there would be a trust issue big time there. And I don't know how Hunter and Wrecker get over that necessarily.
I don't think they will, but I think because Omega says, oh, we have to let him back in, they'll let him in.
Yeah.
Because once again, she escaped with his help. Like, she wouldn't have done it
Mm-hmm.
without him. And he wouldn't have done it without her. So.
Very true. Very true. So now that the batch is together again, in a sense, it did take 4 episodes to get them united, which is fine because the whole 4 episodes wasn't them just escaping, but it was a lot of information that we got, right? Well, what the Empire's doing, what Hemlock's trying to do. But here's the thing: now that they're together, I mean, we still have We still have 14. Still have 12 episodes left. What do you think's next for them? Where's this going to go?
I have no idea. I mean, obviously, it's once again they're being tracked down.
Yes.
I mean, honestly, I think what's going to happen in the next episode, we might get Voss, Quinlan. We might get him and Rex meeting up with them, saying, "We need your help with this upcoming mission."
Mm-hmm.
Or it could be, "Hey, we discovered what the Empire is doing. We know why Omega is so important. This is how we can interrupt their plan." I think Rex needs to come back into the picture. I think just because every single day, the more and more I think about it, the more and more I believe Ventress is a flashback. So that means we have to see Quinlan.
Yeah.
So I think Quinlan and Rex are going to appear and say, "Hey, we need your help."
Yeah, because I think that I think that has to be it because Hunter, even just in these last couple episodes, like what he was telling Mox and those kids, he said, "We have one more mission," and his mission was to find and save Omega. Well, they've got Omega now, so technically their mission's over. I mean, they could go to Pabu and just retire, right? Yeah. And just live off the island. But something has to keep them, because in the trailer it says one final fight. So they have to fight. Now, what are they fighting for? And I think we heard Omega in this last episode say they need to go back and get the rest of the clones.
So maybe that's what it is?
That might be it. That might be, okay, well, let's go back and let's go find Tantus. Let's go get in there and storm the place or whatever and free the rest of the clones.
And destroy
that would
the
be
Reaper.
almost, yeah. And that's true. They could be the reason why this cloning project doesn't get off the ground and doesn't make any headway, because they could destroy the place. That's possible.
I mean, that could be how Wrecker and Hunter die.
That's what I was about to say. Like, that's suicide. That's a suicide mission. I mean, you're going in there against the entire fleet, of the Empire, or battalions of stormtroopers at this place, commandos as well. Yeah, it's not, unless you got an army yourself. You're not doing. You're not gonna come out of there. Not all of you.
No.
So that to me, that has to be the fight. I mean, unless, like you said, unless maybe a Rex or a Bail or Ghana come in and recruit them to, fight for the rebellion.
Mm-hmm.
But it doesn't seem like a reason for them anymore to do that.
No. Also, I loved the episode, by the way, with the teenager survivor clones,
kids.
Mox and the kids. Also, I think the voice of Mox was Daniel
Logan. Yep.
Yeah.
Yep.
I thought that was
That's
really
right.
cool.
Yeah, some good callbacks there from him. Glad to see him back in it too as well.
Mm-hmm. But back to the whole thing, I don't know what the last fight is. Maybe the last fight is freeing those clones and destroying the facility.
I think that's the most likely. I do. I don't know necessarily another reason to introduce. I mean, obviously there could be some things that get introduced, but introduce a whole nother mission for them to go somewhere else and do something, whereas this Tantus thing is still lingering out there. I mean, like you said, they are definitely going to be hunted down. I think that's where Cad Bane and Finnick come back into play. I think they're going to be. I think Hemlock even hinted at the last episode, was saying something like, get all resources on, tracking them down or whatever. So that's basically calling bounty hunters.
Yep.
So we may get, may give a Boba Fett. And honestly, maybe Asajj is alive and that's who they call. I don't, it's possible. I think they truly have to explain what happened to her, but it's possible that she is alive.
But
I don't know how.
We made so much progress. Why would she?
That's true. Exactly. No, we talked about that. Yes.
Yeah, we had a whole conversation.
It would be a big conflict of her character if she's alive, but I don't know. They can.
We'll see, I guess.
We will see. So yeah, I think it's off to a great start, and season 3 is going to be a good one. I think based on some people's reviews of seeing future episodes already, it becomes it is emotional and there's a lot going on, and the stories are really good. So
indeed,
I believe that will continue as well. Okay. Of course, we'll be back, each week talking about it. For everybody who is interested in the Mandalore podcast, where me and Martin are doing big old deep dives into the episodes each week on there as well.
Fun stuff.
So check that out. Yeah. Let's see some comments from our last episode, because we haven't said that either, right? Yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
So let's see. Thrawn says, Phantom Menace trailer was amazing. Great. Thank you. You do so well editing these. Definitely makes me want to watch it this weekend. Looking forward to the Attack of the Clones commentary. I'll set my alarm for 3 a.m. again to check in. And JoJo says, totally agree. Yeah, well, that's why, Thrawn, maybe if we can do Saturday morning, it'll be afternoon for you. So maybe that'll work out, but we'll see.
We will see.
Let's see. Thrawn mentions again, he says, I think both of you covered all the romantic relationships in Star Wars that I can think of. I feel like we need more love in Star Wars. Really not a lot when you think about it. I will mention the Lost Stars book once again. Has good romance, and even the sequels have a good bromance with Finn and Poe. And JoJo says, hopefully Finn and Poe will get more stories together to develop their bond more. And then, let's see, on our commentary, our episode 1 commentary, JoJo says, amazing commentary. Can't wait to be live for the next one. Awesome. Well, you're a patron now, so you will definitely get that link.
Awesome.
And then Darth S&M said, had a lot of fun with y'all. Can't type fast enough during the show. Looking forward to the next one. That's all right. All good. It's a long movie, so we can definitely.
It's long.
It's a long movie. And then a couple people just commented on the trailer I put. Said the prequels hit different now. I think I appreciate them even more. Mm-hmm. And then someone else said, today I've watched it for the first time in 15 years. It's good.
Aww.
Yeah, it's good. Okay. And then I just released a council sessions this past week as well. Me and Martin talk about the best trilogy cast. Like, which cast is the best? What do you think, Hannah? What's your thoughts? I know that's kind of just springing it on you.
With the OG, I got to go with the OG.
OG, yeah.
OG.
Okay. That's what Martin went with.
What do you go with?
Well, see, here's the thing. We kind of laid down some parameters.
Okay.
Because it's not just your favorite,
right?
Or your, I was kind of thinking of like actor qualities and acolytes, and what in the prequel trilogy. I did mention the prequel trilogy. It's because when you look back at the original trilogy, obviously Mark Hamill became a massive voice actor. A lot of people don't know how much he's the Joker, and he's done DC and Marvel, all this stuff.
Oh yeah.
Carey obviously went on to do some movies, but never was huge. Now Harrison obviously became the biggest star out of that cast.
Yeah.
But in the original trilogy, you did have Peter Mayhew. It had Sir Alec Guinness. It had Peter Cushing that played Tarkin. Obviously, James Earl Jones voiced Vader, and David Prowse. Eventually you got Billy D. Williams. Ian McDermott shows up. So you obviously have a good cast, but back then they weren't really huge known actors, right? Prequels come along, and you get, established actors like Liam Neeson, and Natalie Portman was making a name for herself already. Ewan McGregor was already kind of making a name. You knew who these people were, and then you've got Sam Jackson, who was already big time, playing a small part, but then you bring back Frank Oz, you bring back Peter Mayhew and Kenny Baker and Anthony Daniels, obviously, Ian McDermott. And then you have Ray Park, who plays Maul. And then eventually you get Christopher Lee in episode 2. You get Tamara Morrison. You start naming some of these names, and it's like, and then now, if you look at them now, like Natalie Portman won an Oscar, and Ewan McGregor is massive. It's like, and then you get the sequel and those guys. But sequel, you got you got Adam Driver, and Daisy Ridley was not really known, but now she's known. Oscar Isaacs was pretty in demand. Mm-hmm. John Boyega was small parts, but everybody was raving about him. And of course, you have the original trilogy cast in the sequel trilogy, right? So that's why it's like, oh man, when you look at it like that, it's like they're all pretty good. But I went with the prequel trilogy.
I was about to say that's.
Then you throw Hayden Christensen in there as well now, right? Too.
Right. So I completely understand. I completely understand your choice. I really, really do.
Yeah. Nostalgia wise, it's the original trilogy for sure. Like, they're nearest and dear to my heart. But when I think of the best overall cast, I would probably lean towards the prequels.
I think it's fair to say Star Wars in general, there's never been a casting question I've ever had. You know what I mean? Because sometimes you'll watch a TV show and you're like, why was this person cast for this role?
That's true. Yeah.
But I don't think once I've ever have been, why was this person cast in this role for Star Wars?
Even for a movie like Rogue One that you don't like?
Even for Rogue One,
yeah.
For the story they were telling, I never once was like, why is it this actor or actress?
Yeah. No, that's true. That's actually really true. I think the casting has been very well done for these movies. Yeah. Even, no matter if you don't like it or not, even Alden as Han Solo is a good cast. He's a great actor.
I compare it to, because there was one person on YouTube, he was an actor, and he looks like a young Harrison Ford.
Yes.
And I know there was a lot of people saying, well, why did you cast this other guy? I would equate it to the guy who was cast as Elrond, young Elrond in The Rings of Power. He looks nothing like Elrond. Absolutely nothing like him. But he did such an amazing job that you're like, oh, this is why you were cast. So I agree with you. Even though he still was Han Solo.
Yes.
He still did an excellent job. And not once was I like, why was he cast in this role?
Yeah, no, totally agree. Yeah, I think it was well done. I think they have done a hell of a job with the casting. And and I agree. I think some people will comment. In fact, Thrawn's comment on that council session. He says, technically, the prequel trilogy had the best cast, but unfortunately, the writing let them down.
Yes.
You had Liam Neeson, Sam Jackson, Christopher Lee, Natalie Portman. Plus, you had some actors from the original trilogy to prequels like Ian McDermott and Frank Oz. In regards to chemistry, though, I think the original cast was miles better. Mm-hmm. Sequel trilogy cast was great, but they were helped by original trilogy cast and also had quite a few unknowns. Love the council session discussions and love it when Martin makes an appearance. Also love the Bad Batch review on Mandalore podcast this week. Thanks again. May the force be with you.
Aw.
Thank you, Theron. Yeah, that's definitely, that's all true. I mean, the original cast chemistry was incredible, but I think, you know, they were at an advantage that, at least I think, we saw them on screen together more.
Yes.
They were on screen all the time, I felt like, you know. They were that first Skywalker Star Wars family. Mm-hmm. And they were together up until, you know, besides Han being in Carbonite, they were together pretty much all the time.
Yep.
Whereas, you know, the prequels, it just gets, prequels, you know, you don't get Hayden until the second movie. And it feels like, you know, they're not, Natalie and Ewan and Hayden, they're not all like together working on missions like they were in the Clone Wars. Like the Clone Wars, we got that, right? But in the movies, not so much. And in the sequel trilogy, that was the big knock, is that Ray, Finn, and Poe, Ray, Finn, and Poe, they were never together until the last movie.
Yeah, which...
Like the end of the second movie, Ray finally meets Poe. I mean...
Like, yeah.
So, there's no chemistry, you know, so anyway.
No, that's an excellent point, too.
Yeah, it's a good point. All right, thanks everybody for listening, for watching. We really appreciate it. Of course, thanks to our patrons, who you guys, if you want to join there, go to patreon.com/InsideTheForce. We're going to be doing commentaries all year long. We're going to be doing them live to Patreon. And, you know, if you want to see it later, obviously it'll be up later. But if you want to join us live, watch it with us, comment while we're watching and talking, check that out. The episode 2 commentary will be listed on there. I just don't know. It'll be Friday night. Is that March? No, that's March 2nd.
March 1st.
Right? March 1st. Oh yeah, because there's 29 days. Yeah, that's right. So March 1st, and then, or it could be March 2nd. So we'll let you guys know. But thanks everybody as usual. Thank you, Hannah.
Thank you, Dave.
Yeah, we'll see you next week when we're talking about the Bad Batch and whatever Star Wars news comes across the airways. We'll catch it up and let everybody know. Thanks, everybody. Have a great weekend. We'll see you next week. May the Force be with you.